Hello everyone, welcome to the course Animal Waste Utilization, Week 3, Module 1, Lecture number 1, Farmyard Manure and Composting. Myself, Dr. Utkarsh Kumar Tripathi, Assistant Professor, Livestock Production Management, Faculty of Veterinary Animal Sciences, Banaras Hindu University. In this topic, we will be dealing with the waste utilization of our livestock, which are domesticated animal species for the human benefits. Livestock waste, which is generally known as animal waste, refers to the solid, semi-solid and liquid byproducts generated by animals which are raised for food, fiber and other agricultural products. It primarily includes manure, bedding material, wash water, slurry, spilled field and carcass. Carcass are the dead bodies of our livestock through any disease or any natural calamities. What are the importance in animal husbandry? That waste utilization. We are talking about the waste utilization and their importance in animal husbandry. That if our livestock waste plays a crucial role in agriculture due to its nutrient content and potential as a soil amendment. When managed properly, livestock waste can improve our soil structure and fertility. It can provide essential crop nutrients. It can reduce the need for synthetic fertilizer and it can contribute to circular economy. So we can say that if we are properly utilizing our animal waste and we are disposing of, then we can not only we can improve our soil fertility, but we can easily dispose of the waste and prevent the society, the premises, the living being of our farmers from the odor, water pollution, soil pollution and other things. So here we can see that if we are dealing with the farmyard manure, so what are the benefits of farmyard manure? Here soil fertility improvement is the basic concept which is coming under farmyard manure. Farmyard manure enhances soil fertility by providing essential nutrients such as nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium. It contains approximately 5 to 6 kg of nitrogen, 1.2 to 2 kg of phosphorus and around 5 to 6 kg of potassium per tons of farmyard manure. Here soil structure enhancement is also a basic thing which has been provided by farmyard manure. It improves soil structure, increasing its ability to retain water and nutrients. This results in better aeration and root penetration, which are crucial for plant growth. Along with that, microbial activity also boosts if we are using farmyard manure. Farmyard manure promotes essentially the microbial activity in the soil, which is essential for nutrient cycling, availability to the plants. This biological activity helps in breaking down organic matter and releasing nutrients gradually. Along with that, we can also observe that it is very cost effective because we can reduce the dependency of our farmers on chemical fertilizer. And if we are avoiding the chemical fertilizer used in our farm fields, then it is sure that we are going to help the environment benefits by utilizing farmyard manure, which reduces waste disposal issues and contributes to sustainable agricultural practices by recycling nutrients back into the soil. So what are the benefits of composting? Here we can say that nutrient-rich organic matter we are going to get. Composting transforms livestock waste into nutrient-rich organic matter that can enhance soil fertility and structure similar to farmyard manure but with a more balanced nutrient profile. Along with that, it also helps to reduce the waste. Means composting effectively reduces the volume of waste produced on farms, minimizing environmental impact and potential pollution from excess manure application. Along with that, it also improves the soil health. Means with the application of compost, we can improve our soil health by increasing organic matter content. In turn, in result with that, the soil is enhancing its water retention capacity. Along with that, supporting the beneficial microbial communities. If we are disposing our farm waste effectively, then surely we are going to reduce the greenhouse gases. Means proper composting techniques can lower the greenhouse gases emission compared to traditional manure management practiced by reducing methane production from decomposing organic matter. Method of utilization means how we can utilize our farm waste, our livestock waste effectively for the benefits of environment and for the benefits of our farmers. Means if we are applying the farmyard manure directly to the soil, both farmyard manure and compost can be directly applied to the field as fertilizer before planting the crops. It is recommended to apply well decomposed manure or compost 15 to 20 days before, at least 50 to 20 days before sowing, to allow the nutrient release and integration with the soil. Incorporation into crop rotation. Incorporating the farmyard manure compost into crop rotation system enhances nutrient availability for subsequent crops, promoting sustainable farming practices and improving overall soil health over the time. Here, in our cities, in urban areas, we can also use in nursery production and gardening. Means if we are using in our nursery and gardens, then it can be beneficial in nursery production, where it can be mixed with putting soils to provide a nutrient-rich medium for seedling growth. What are those composting techniques? Means aerobic composting, vermicomposting using earthworm, bokashi composting can be employed to process livestock waste effectively. We can also integrate the composting, vermicomposting methods with the other agriculture practices. Means combining farmyard manure or compost with other agriculture practices such as cover cropping, reduced tillage can maximize benefits while minimizing environmental impact. Now here we are going to discuss that what are farmyard manure. Farmyard manure is a widely used term for the organic fertilizer derived from the waste of farm animals. It typically consists of combination of dung, urine and bedding material. Means we can include the animal waste as a dung, we can use the animal waste as a urine through the excretion of animals, and also we can utilize the bedding material for that we are using for our animal sheds and animal premises. So what are those benefits of using farmyard manure? If we are using this, then farmyard manure can offer several benefits when used as a soil amendments in agriculture. Some of the key advantages are here, like it can improve the soil structure and fertility. So how it can be used for increasing the soil health, for enhancing the soil health? Means it can enhance the soil aggregation. The organic matter in farmyard manure helps bind soil particles together, improving soil structure and reducing compaction. It can also increase the water holding capacity. Means farmyard manure increases the soil ability to retain moisture, reducing the risk of drought stress for crops. It can also provide the essential nutrients. Farmyard manure has a balanced blend of micronutrient as well as macronutrient. If we are talking about the macronutrient, that is NPK, means nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, and micronutrients with some trace minerals. It can be provided by the farmyard manure, and we can also enhance our efficiency to dispose of our waste if we are adopting this farmyard manure and composting methods. Also, we can gradually increase the nutrient release in our farm field. The organic matter in farmyard manure slowly release nutrient over time, providing a sustained supply for crops throughout the growing season. Now, how farmyard manure is going to help the soil to enhance the microbial activity in soil? Means here we can see that the farmyard manure promotes beneficial microorganisms. Farmyard manure serves as a food source for soil microbes, stimulating their growth and diversity. It can also improve the nutrient cyclicity. Means whatever nutrient we are taking out of the plants for the consumption of our animals, these are just retained again if we are using their excretory material into the field itself, into the soil itself, in the form of farmyard manure or compost. It can also enhance the soil health by flourishing microbial community, which contributes overall soil health, which is essential for sustainable agriculture. It suppresses the soil-borne disease. Some beneficial microorganisms can help suppress the growth of soil-borne pathogens, which can reduce the risk of plant disease. Now, if we are using the benefits of farmyard manure, it's obvious that there must be some kind of challenges for producing the farmyard manure. While farmyard manure is a valuable resource for enhancing soil fertility, its management presents several challenges. One of the primary concerns is nutrient loss, which can occur during both storage and application. The very first challenge is volatilization of nitrogen. Means ammonia can be lost to the atmosphere when manure is stored improperly, especially in warm conditions. This results in a significant reduction of nitrogen content, which is essential for plant growth. Now the next challenge is leaching. Leaching, as we all know, that rainfall or irrigation can wash away the soluble nutrients out of that farmyard manure. Means their effect will be a little bit decreased if there is heavy rainfall or heavy irrigation. particularly nitrogen and potassium from stored farmyard manure, especially if it is not covered or stored in a proper containment system. Now the another one is microbial decomposition. Means microbial activity during storage can lead to the breakdown of organic matter and the release of nutrient in readily available form. Next, inadequate timing can also be a threat for farmyard manure. By applying farmyard manure at wrong time, like during heavy rainfall, means we are just inviting the leaching. If we are applying the farmyard manure in our field at a wrong time, means in rainy season, heavy rainy season, we can say that it can lead to the nutrient runoff into the water bodies, resulting in water pollution. Here we are having the threats in two ways, that we are losing our nutrient out of farmyard manure, and along with that we are also going to pollute our water content, water bodies in surrounding areas. Now improper incorporation also, if we are failing to incorporate farmyard manure into the soil, then it promptly after application can expose nutrients to environmental condition that promotes volatilization and leaching. Application rates, it is very effective way to control our farmyard manure efficiency and effective nature, that if the over application of farmyard manure is done, then it can lead to the nutrient imbalance in the soil, while under application may not provide the sufficient nutrients for optimum plant growth. Now here we are shifting to our composting, the other topic of farm waste utilization. That composting, we all know that it is a controlled aerobic process that converts organic material into nutrient-rich, biologically stable soil amendment through natural decomposition. This process involves the breakdown of organic waste by microorganisms such as bacteria and fungi, which feed on material added to the compost pile. The key ingredient for effective composting includes that are carbon, nitrogen, oxygen and water. As we have gone through this definition, that composting is controlled aerobic process. So it's bit sure that oxygen is going to play an important role in this composting method. The end product of composting is known as compost. It's very obvious, and that compost is a valuable resource that can be used to improve soil quality in gardens, landscaping and agricultural practices. What are the purpose of composting? Why we are doing this? That through composting we can reduce the waste. By composting, help divert the organic waste from landfills, reducing the volume of waste that contributes to the methane emission, the greenhouse gases during anaerobic decomposition. While along with that, we can also improve the soil quality. Means soil health can also be enhanced if we are using the compost made by our farm waste. Now, how we can help the environment if we are using the compost? Composting contributes to a circular economy by recycling organic material back into the ecosystem, promoting sustainability and reducing dependency on chemical fertilizer. Now, we can also enhance the carbon sequestration. Means you all might be knowing about the concept of carbon credit and other things. Means we can increase the carbon sequestration, through which we can hold the number of carbon content in the form of CO2, in the form of other organic content. Means composting helps sequestering the carbon in the soil, mitigating the climate change impact by reducing greenhouse gas emission. Now, what are different composting methods? Composting can be categorized into various methods based on the presence of oxygen and the scale of operation. The two primary types of compostings are aerobic and anaerobic composting. Aerobic composting, as the name shows, that this is the process that requires oxygen to decompose organic material. It relies on aerobic microorganisms such as bacteria and fungi, which flourish in the presence of air. What are the different processes? Means organic waste is piled or placed in a bins with sufficient airflow. Means oxygen is necessary, air is necessary for this type of composting. Microorganisms break down the material, generating heat as a byproduct, and regular turning out or aeration is necessary to maintain oxygen level and promote decomposition. So what are different benefits of aerobic decomposition and converting it into compost? Benefits are like producing high quality compost rich in nutrient, reducing odor and suppresses the pathogens and weed seeds, and faster decomposition rates compared to the anaerobic method, results into often completing the process in a few weeks to months. Here it is very necessary to know that if we are using the aerobic methods of composting, then we can say that decomposition will be a little bit faster, because oxygen is responsible for oxidation of our organic material. Now, what are different composting methods through aerobic process? Here we can say that backyard composting, vermicomposting, window composting and in-vessel composting comes under these methods, where we are using aerobic method of composting for making a compost. Now, what are anaerobic composting? Anaerobic composting occur in absence of oxygen. As the name depicts that anaerobic composting, anaerobic means there will be devoid of oxygen. Relying on the anaerobic microbes to break down the organic material, this method typically takes place in sealed environment, means there will not be any presence of air, or you can say oxygen. What are the different process? Organic waste is compacted in a container or digester where air is excluded. Microorganisms, those are anaerobic microbes obviously, that decompose the material, producing biogas, methane as byproducts. What are the different benefits? Here generates biogas that can be used as renewable energy and effective for managing large volume of organic waste, particularly in industrial setting. So we can say that where aerobic process can be performed in our day-to-day life in villages on rural level, whereas anaerobic composting can be applied on a larger scale, basically in industrial areas. What are different challenges? That in anaerobic processing of composting, that the slower decomposition rate, often taking several months to year, and it is also having potential for unpleasant odor if not managed properly. Material suitable for composting. What material we can utilize to make compost? Means it involves the decomposition of various organic material which can be broadly categorized into different types. Two significant sources of compostable material are agricultural waste or animal waste. Means both we can use either agricultural waste or livestock waste. Agricultural waste, if we talk about, then we can easily identify them as a crop residue, food waste, green waste and wood waste. Livestock waste, if we talk about, then it is easy to know that we have previously discussed about this, that manure, bedding material and mixed waste. Along with that, urine is also utilized for making compost as a water content. Now, microorganisms in composting. What are different microorganisms which are utilized for composting? The very basic thing is bacteria. Those are used as primary decomposer. Means bacteria are the first microorganism to act as organic matter during composting. They thrive in both aerobic with oxygen and anaerobic without oxygen condition, although aerobic bacteria are more prevalent in initial stage of decomposition. Now, aerobic bacteria, these bacteria require oxygen. At the same time, anaerobic bacteria, those bacteria function in low oxygen environment and continues the decomposition process at a slower rate. Here we can say that anaerobic bacteria is utilizing no oxygen and perform their function with slower rate. They play a role in breaking down material that anaerobic bacteria cannot handle. So nutrient cycling. Bacteria contribute to nutrient cycling by converting complex organic compound into simpler form that plants can absorb. They also help release nitrogen back into the soil, which is vital for plant growth. Now, the fungi known as secondary decomposer. Fungi become more prominent as the compost matures. Means after bacteria has worked on compost, then fungi come to its role. They are particularly effective at breaking down complex organic materials such as lignin and cellulose found in woody plant matter. Now, role in compost structure. Fungi help bind compost particles together, improving soil structure when applied. Their mycelium, the vegetative part of fungi, you all know, that enhances the physical properties of compost, promoting aeration and moisture retention. So, nutrient availability. Through their decomposition activities, fungi release nutrients that become available to plants after the compost matures. Composting process as a whole, we can say that here are different steps of methods. The very first step is collection and storage. Means gathering material which are required for composting. We collect the organic waste material, which can include kitchen scrap, which includes the fruit, vegetable, other kitchen material, yard waste like leaves, grass, clippings, and agricultural residues like crop residue, as well as livestock manure, livestock urine, livestock waste, bedding material and other things. Now, it comes to our next step, that is storage. Means now we have to store all the collected material in a designated container or bin to keep them organized and prevent odor. Now, we are supposed to separate the container for greens, which are nitrogen rich material, and browns, which are carbon rich material for easy access. Now it's turn to mixing the material, what we have gathered, what we have stored. Now mixing in two parts, that layering ingredient. We have to layer the ingredient what we have collected in two form, like brown and greens. Okay, greens covering the green material, and browns which are dry material or agricultural waste we can say, and greens which are agricultural crops basically. So layering is generally performed in as a ratio of 2:3 parts of brown and 1 part greens to make the optimum carbon to nitrogen ratio. Now chopping material, to accelerate the decomposition, chop or shed before adding them to the pile. This increases the surface area. So we are providing, through chopping, we are providing more surface area for the action of microbes, fungi, bacteria and other enzymatic action through fermentation, through aerobic action. Now the next turns to aeration, means how we can provide more and more oxygen, more and more air for decomposition of our organic material, in which the turning the pile, means regular turning or mixing the compost pile, which introduce the oxygen into the system, which is very crucial for aerobic bacteria that facilitate faster decomposition. So we can use a pitchfork or shovel to aerate the pile every few weeks. Monitoring moisture level, ensure that the compost pile maintains adequate moisture. Similar to wrung out sponge, it is become too dry, add water. If too wet, then incorporate more brown to absorb excess moisture. Now our compost is almost ready, means it is now mature. So the at maturation period, there are two things, that curing phase and finally getting the products. In curing phase, after the active decomposition phase, allow the compost to mature for several weeks to months. During this time, microbial activity slows down and the compost getting stabilized. Final products, the finished compost should be dark, crumbly and have an earthy smell. At this stage, it is ready for use in gardens and landscaping. What are different steps to affect the compost quality? Means we are going to deal with the different factors which are going to affect our quality of compost. Here are very basic thing, that carbon nitrogen ratio, means what we have dealt in brown and green coloring during layering our compost. Now the importance of carbon nitrogen is crucial factor in composting, as determines the balance of carbon rich, means browns, and nitrogen rich as green material in compost pile. So what should be the optimum ratio? The optimum ratio should be 25:1 or 30:1, means carbon and nitrogen should be in this ratio. Means we are saying indirectly that green part should be lesser than the brown part. This balance support optimum microbial activity and decomposition rates. Impacts on decomposition, a high carbon nitrogen ratio means more carbon can slow down the decomposition process, while a low carbon nitrogen ratio means more nitrogen can lead to the excessive heat and nutrient loss during volatilization. Now the moisture content should be generally 40 to 60% to facilitate the decomposition. If the excess moisture condition is there, then it can create the anaerobic condition, leading to the foul odor and slower decomposition. And insufficient moisture, if the system prevails like this, then it can dry out the pile, inhibiting the microbial activity and slowing down the composition process. So here we are recommending to keep the moisture percentage around 40 to 60%. Then the next factor of affecting our quality of compost, that is aeration, means oxygen supply. Aerobic microorganisms require oxygen to thrive. Proper aeration help maintain aerobic condition, which are crucial for efficient decomposition. Method of aeration, we have discussed already, that regularly turning or mixing of the compost pile to introduced air is very important for the action of aerobic bacteria. Now the temperature here we are going to deal in two phases, like the mesophilic phase and thermophilic phase. In mesophilic phase, the bacterial action occurs in 20 to 45 degrees Celsius, and in thermophilic phase 45 to 70 degrees Celsius. Particle size means surface area. The smaller particle size increase the surface area for microbial colonization and improve decomposition rates. Uniformity, a mix of different particle size can enhance aeration and moisture retention with the compost pile. What should be the pH level? pH level, the ideal pH range for composting is between 6 to 7.5. This range supports microbial growth and nutrient availability. Acidic condition pH means less than 6, and alkaline condition more than 7 can lead to nitrogen loss through ammonia volatilization. Composting timeline, if we talk about as a whole, then the initial phase means mesophilic phase, duration is around 25 to 72 hours. Thermophilic phase, it takes several days to weeks, and maturation phase, that is, we can also say it as mesophilic phase 2, it takes duration around 2 months, and curing of the final maturation phase duration around 1 to 4 months. So in total we can say that 3 months to over a year, depending upon the managemental practices, the material utilized and the condition prevails, we can take for making our compost in mature form and usable form for our field. What are economic advantage of composting? Means fertilizer cost reduction. If we are using the farmyard manure or fertilizer or compost, then we can surely decrease the cost which is incurred by the farmers for their chemical fertilizer. If we are using lesser chemical fertilizer, then certainly we are going to improve our soil health, we can sustain our agriculture practice, and we can also, along with those things, we can also get revenue generation through selling of this compost, and our community can be engaged as a job, as a initiative to generate revenue and promoting sustainability. Thank you all.